Hi everyone, thanks for joining. I will go ahead and get started. So welcome to today's webinar. Today's session is on the View Resource Task, which will be presented by Billy Cohen from our TaroWorks Services team. This feature deep dive is a part of a three-part series on features that could help your organization during the current global pandemic. We're all working in a climate of uncertainty where there's lots of information and also misinformation that's circulating. And we're governmental and our organizational policies being continuously updated. So all of this poses a significant challenge to keeping our remote field staff informed. So today's session is on a feature that we're hoping will help you do that better. I'm just going to launch a quick poll to get an idea of how you're currently managing communications with your remote field staff. And while you guys are responding, I'll go over some of the housekeeping rules. So the poll should be open. You just want to share how you guys are managing this today. It can kind of help guide us in what we're going over throughout the session. So just a few quick housekeeping rules. This session is going to be recorded and it can also be shared on our website or YouTube channel. Everyone's muted by default right now, but if you have a question at any point throughout the presentation, please either type it into the chat and we'll try and pause and get it answered. Or if you prefer to ask your question, feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you. You can feel free to introduce yourself to the rest of the TaroWorks community before you ask your question. I'll give you guys just a couple more minutes to respond. And I think we'll go ahead and close the poll now. If you want to get your last answers in. So we still got a few more coming in actually. Okay. So it looks like about, it's a pretty even spread. Some people are using SMS, but others using phone calls, emails, and other, but no one is using TaroWorks resources, which is probably why you're joining today's session. So that's great. Without further ado, Billy, I'm going to hand it over to you and you can get started with the presentation. One more note as I'm doing that, the format for this COVID series is a shorter format, so there will only be 15 minutes of content, and then we are allowing the rest of the time, remainder of the time, for questions. So feel free to ask questions as we go along or wait until the end. Okay, Billy, take it away.
Great, thank you, Erin, and welcome everyone to this feature deep dive. In this presentation, we are going to dive into how you can share resources with your mobile users. This is achieved by using a view resource task in TaroWorks. And this feature allows you to share various types of resources with your mobile users for either internal use or to be used in the field, such as within training. The types of resources that you can share with your mobile users include videos, documents, as well as audio files. So the agenda for today's presentation is that I am first going to take you through a demonstration on our TaroWorks mobile application to show you how or what the mobile user experience looks like when using view resource tasks. We'll then look at the various different types of files that are compatible with view resource tasks. We'll then go through the necessary configuration of all of this on Salesforce. I'll then show you a few or give you access to a few resources that can be used when you are creating your own view resource tasks, as well as a couple of other features that are present within our demonstration. I'll then open up to questions and comments that you might have. And then finally, we'll go over our support process as well as some other offerings that we have. Okay, so just a bit of context with the demo. For this demo, I'm going to use an example from our fictitious company called Aquacomb. And Aquacomb digs wells for various different communities. It then registers these community members that live around these wells, and then will check in on these members periodically to analyze the impact of the wells. In today's example, though, to keep the mobile users of Aquacomb safe during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Aquacomb management want to send them some resources to educate them on best health and safety practices while during the pandemic. And added to this, management also want to quiz the mobile users on what they have learned from the resources that they've just seen, and then from the results of that quiz, run some reports and create a dashboard from that. So that's what we're going to do. So as you can see, the mobile emulator on the screen. I'm going to go into jobs. And the job that we've created for this is called COVID-19 Resources and Quiz. So I'll go ahead and open that job. We can then look at the instructions. So this job contains information on how to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. Take about 10 minutes to go through the resources. You will then be quizzed. This quiz contains 5 questions testing you on what you have just learned. It will take you 3 minutes and is scored out of 100. Good luck. So as you can see for this job, there are 3 tasks: COVID-19 information, hand washing video, and COVID-19 quiz. COVID-19 information and hand washing video are both view resource tasks, and COVID-19 quiz is a collect data task. And one thing to note is that in a job that has more than one task, the tasks need to be executed and completed in sequential order. So that's why you'll see at the start of the job, the hand washing video task and the COVID-19 quiz task are grayed out because you have to complete the COVID-19 information task first. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we've got a customized instruction for this, which is this infographic contains some important information to keep you safe during the pandemic. So we'll go ahead and open that image. And as you can see, we've got an infographic from the World Health Organization giving some information on how to stay safe during the pandemic. One thing to note here is that we don't necessarily recommend this specific infographic or the specific video I'm going to show you. I just use these for the purposes of the demonstration. So the mobile users will then go through this resource. When they finish, they can click next. They can then reopen the image if they'd like, or click on next task, which I will do. The instructions for this task is that this video explains the importance of hand washing. So this is a 20-second video explaining the importance of hand washing. So we'll click on play media and let the video run out for 20 seconds. Again, it's not necessarily a video, just for the purposes of the demonstration. I apologize if there is a bit of a delay in the video. Great, then once that video is completed, the mobile user can replay the video if they would like. We'll go to the next task. And this next task, which is the last task, is the collect data task of the COVID-19 quiz. So what I've done here is set 5 questions within this form. They're all single select questions that's testing the knowledge that the mobile users have just gotten from the resources. I've also added scoring onto this form. So each of these 5 questions is scored out of 20, and the mobile user will then see what their score was at the end, and that score is also synchronized into Salesforce. So I'll go through the first 2 questions and then breeze through the rest. So the first is, how is COVID-19 passed on? So through droplets that come out of your nose or mouth when you cough or breathe out, in sexual fluids, by drinking unclean water, or all of the above. So I'm going to choose the first option, click next. What I've done is I've also, after each of the single select questions, I've added a static content question. And basically what that has is the correct answer. So in this case, that was the correct answer that we chose, as well as some extra information on this specific topic relating to COVID-19. So the next one is, what are the common symptoms of COVID-19? A new and continuous cough, fever, tiredness, all of the above. So I'll go for fever. And then, as you can see, it should have actually been all of the above. And we are giving some extra information. So I'll breeze through these last three. So can you always tell if someone has COVID-19? Can washing your hands protect you from COVID-19? And finally, which of the following is an example of physical distancing? Okay, once all those questions have been answered, we will then finish off the form as well as the job. And what we'll see is our score out of 100. So we can click next, mark complete, and synchronize. Okay, so as mentioned in the beginning of the demo, that the management also wants to be reporting on the results of this quiz. So what I did was set up a few reports and used those reports to create a dashboard. So this is the COVID-19 quiz dashboard, and I've set up a few components of this dashboard that are specific to each question. So here are those here, and then as well as the and another component that shows the score per individual. So we can go ahead and refresh this, and that score will refresh.
Billy Celeste has a really great question. Can you
Yes.
prevent staff from going backwards to adjust responses after seeing the answer so as to see authentic scores?
So Erin, I'm actually going to pass this one to you.
Sure. The answer is no. So if you're truly trying to see, I think in this use case, the thought process around the quiz was, have they been exposed to the information or not, and which parts do we need to continue to hone in on? In that case, if you want to really emphasize the latter part of that, like which pieces are people not really understanding or clearly haven't sunken in, then you probably wouldn't want to display the answers. And maybe just display the score, or not even display the score and just keep that for your information in the back end. So there's no way to prevent people from navigating backwards in a form. And you can also go to the view index at any point to see all the questions in a form with their responses. Great question.
Great, thanks, Erin. Yeah, great question. Any other questions at this point?
None right now.
Awesome. So that's the end of the demonstration. So next is we'll look through the different file types that are compatible with the view resource task on TaroWorks. So as I've mentioned, you can upload videos, documents, and audio, and this is a list of the file types for each that are compatible. So with video, it's MP4 and 3GP files. Documents, you can upload PDFs, doc files, docx, txt, XLS, which is spreadsheets, as well as JPEG files. And for audio files, you can upload P2 type files. Okay, so now what we're going to look at is how to configure this all on Salesforce. So to do that, there's two steps. So the first thing we'll need to do is add our resources to the TaroWorks library. And the second would be to actually configure the job. Now, when TaroWorks is installed in an org, a Salesforce org, one of the install steps is creating this TaroWorks library. So all of you should already have this in your org. And to access it, you would come to, you would launch the app launcher, which is this 9-dotted square under the Salesforce cloud. You can then click view all. In the search bar, you type in files. And then in the left-hand column here, you would click on libraries. And there you can see our TaroWorks library. So you can click to open it. It then shows all of the files that are currently within that library. To add a new file, you would click on Add Files, and from here you can upload files from your local computer. Okay, once you've uploaded the required files, you can come to your Jobs tab. Okay, for the purpose of this, I've made a clone of the job that we went through. So I'm going to edit that. As you can see, here's the instruction for the job. And under the tasks section, you can see our 3 tasks that we went through. You can see the order at which they need to be completed, as well as the type. So the COVID-19 information and hand washing video tasks are view resource tasks, and the COVID-19 quiz task is a collect data task. So just to show you how to set up a view resource task, it's very simple. Under what type of task you want to create, you would click view resource, you would give the title, the customized instruction, and then from your list of files within your TaroWorks library, you would select which one. So in this case, we're using this JPEG. Similarly, for the hand washing video, view resource task, and we are using the MP4. And then for the collect data task, we're choosing collect data under which type of task you want to create. Then you can add your title if you have any instructions, and then which form you're using. You can then save the job, publish it, and assign it to the relevant mobile users. Okay, so some resources that will help with creating your own view resource tasks. So preparing files for upload. So this is a document that shows all of the files that are compatible with the TaroWorks view resource task. Then how to actually set up view resource and view data tasks. There's another document, and then also a document on scoring, how to set up scoring within your forms. Great, so I'm going to take a pause here. Are there any other questions or comments about the demonstration or how to configure this?
None so far. None so far. You can keep going.
Okay, great. So just to end off this presentation, so our support policy, so all of our clients receive 1 hour free support a month. So in this context, if you're creating a view resource task and you're struggling with that, you can submit a support request. To do that, you would go to taroworks.zendesk.com, which is where all of our documentation lives. And at the top right corner of any page within on the site, you can click on the green button, submit a request. This will take you to our request form where you can fill out the required data and submit the request, which will create a support ticket on our side. If you're needing more help, so if you're wanting to reach out for TaroWorks to help with some of our features, or creating new jobs or forms, or designing, redesigning data models, or auditing your jobs, we have a couple of extra offerings. The first is the ongoing consulting package, which is either 5 or 10 hours a month for 3 months, where we can build whatever you need or test what you need. And then the other offering is the job audit package, which consists of a TaroWorks consultant testing 5 of your jobs for efficiency, for accuracy of the data they will collect, and one of the outcomes of this will be a list of improvements for those jobs. So great, that brings us now to the end of this deep dive. Any final questions or comments?
There's one straggler question.
Okay.
Is there an app you'd recommend to open files like PDFs or spreadsheets?
Yeah, so at TaroWorks, we use the Office Suite 8. You can find a link to it on our support site in the frequently asked questions section. It's also free of charge. Great question.
Awesome. Okay, have another one coming in. Okay, it's a comment. Just thanks. It's very clear. Great tool for team refresher trainings. Another question from Jorge. What are the maximum, what's the maximum size for files recommended?
For files to be sent out?
Yes, via the view resource task, I presume. Jorge, correct me if I'm wrong.
So the maximum size, unless you know, Aaron, I'm not 100% sure, but basically so once a file is synchronized onto a mobile device, that file doesn't need to be resynchronized every time. But on that initial synchronization, the larger and the more files there are, the longer the sync will take. But Aaron, do you know what the maximum size would be?
Let me validate before I say it out loud, just to double check.
Okay.
I will look that up right now. Are there any other questions in the meantime? If not, I just wanted to also make one final announcement while I'm getting that answer for you, Jorge. Tomorrow is the last day that you can request to have the TaroWorks services team upgrade your org to 6.1. I can't stress enough how much I would take advantage of this if you haven't already scheduled your upgrade. And you do just need to schedule it by tomorrow. We don't have to actually upgrade you by tomorrow. The upgrade to 6.1 is very involved, and because we have to migrate all of your attachments to files. So you are saving yourself potentially hours or days of work by engaging us to do this. So everybody definitely, if you haven't already, go to Zendesk, click submit a request, and request a support team to set up your upgrade. And again, you can set it up for in the future. We just need it scheduled by tomorrow. And then the team will respond with some questions that we'll need answered in order to handle that upgrade for you. Okay, so for the maximum file size, it's 5 megabytes. And really, it's not like you're going to hit an error when you're uploading to the library or when you're trying to sync to Salesforce. It's exactly along the lines that Billy mentioned. It's just to be cautious about your sync times. Jorge, that answer the question? Are there any other questions? Another question coming in from Josephat. Can we have a field to only hold letters, I believe is the question. So Josephat, we might need to follow up afterwards to clarify, but I think, is the question you're asking in the context of the use case where you're wanting to just give information to the mobile users that you've typed up? Or if it's easier for me to unmute you to ask your question, we can do that too. If I'm interpreting the question correctly, then yes, you can definitely do that. Billy actually demonstrated that. It's called a static content question, which isn't actually a question at all. It allows you just to type whatever content that you want to relate to the mobile user in a form. So just let me know if that didn't answer the question. But the answer, if I interpret it correctly, the answer is yes, it's a static content question. Or alternatively, if like you have a written document, you could actually use the view resource task instead of putting text into a collect data task. Question from Victoria, are we going to share a recording of the webinar? Yes, definitely. So all of these deep dives are being posted to our YouTube channel. We actually have a playlist called Feature Deep Dives. So you can see this recording and recording for any previous session there. And same question from Gabriella. Any other questions? Okay, Josephat, if I didn't answer your question directly, please feel free to shoot us a ticket from our support site, and everyone go ahead and get your upgrades scheduled. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you, Aaron.